Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Before the heaven and the earth came to existence, what was I? Dharma friends and practitioners practice meditation, emphasize practicing, and our practice add question, raising doubt, continue add question diligently to maintain doubt. The right Dharma that always sweep out self-attachment, to leave the objective and the maintaining the doubt. Like I'll explain one example that doubt just like the automatic broom sweep out all self-attachment, ignore, discrimination, and at the end achieve the enlightenment. The patriarch said doubt the cause lead to the effect that the enlightenment. Great doubt leads to the great enlightenment. Small doubt leads to the small enlightenment. No doubt, no enlightenment. So the practice, or explanation, or the meaning, just help the practitioner to get a belief, strong belief in your mind, and always maintain the doubt. Maintain the doubt until no objective, no subjective, mean no even tiny attachment. Not like nothing or have a thing. Mean out of the dualism. So just like practice seriously, always maintain doubt. Don't be trapped by self-attachment, discrimination. To prevent the trap, just like seriously in the practice, we have to always respectfully from the Chipachu, respectfully in the question answer, respectfully in the patriarch, and experience one. Just practice.
Dear all monks, all nuns, and all practitioners, the Hotel method, meditation method, is the intention from the Buddha to help us let go of all discriminations, all attachments. And this is considered to be the method of inflow. So we try to practice in a way according to the Buddha's principle, Buddha's teachings. So when we're talking about inflow and outflow, if we stay with the practice, we go with the flow, lot of inflow, then we will sweep all attachments. So how do we practice? This is very important for all practitioners. So the patriarchs taught to this method. And this is one of the experiences and this is the skillful means. So this practice will lead us to the vital state, which is the state where no thought arises. This is the origin of the consciousness. It is the origin. So if we want to go to this state, we need to keep the practice. If we don't practice, then we more likely stay with the one thought of ignorance. Stay with the we will be in the mode of ignorance, and we will have all kind of attachment, and we get rise to a lot of judgments or discriminations. So if we practice, eventually we'll get to the state where the true appearance, which is no appearance, is true appearance. Or, so this practice, investigating Chan, it will leave behind, let go of the subjective and objective. And it will go to a state where nothing for us to hold on, no grasping. So this is how we describe. This is just discrimination. This is the explanation about the practice. So because of our discrimination, the thought of discrimination is always, in the mind being active, and then we have all kind of judgment, and then we think wrong and right, and we keep all kind of attachment, and this is attachment, and this is because we actively practice. We're not constantly practice, or we're not diligent in the practice. So Master Trung Phong mentioned about the three criteria. We have to have the eyes of wisdom with eyes, and to be clear in the theory, and then we need to have a determination in the practice. So for the patriots, with their experience, they about when they get to the final state, is like we let go of everything. So if we can go to the heart of state, where this is considered to be the origin of the consciousness. So when we practice, beginning with the one thought of ignorance, and it will eventually lead us to the no thought of ignorance. If we're not be careful about the practice, we not clear about the practice, then we more likely to stay with the one thought of ignorance. We never go to the one no thought of ignorance. So if we're not careful about the practice and practice correctly, an example to this is like when we walk in the forest, and if we don't know the direction to get out, then we'll stay in the forest forever. So we need to plant the seed in our mind, the prajna seed in our mind. So if we can give rise to the doubt, then we eventually will get to state from we will transform ourselves from consciousness to wisdom, and that's and that we will be successful. That's the so the Matrix mentioned about the stay in Vietnamese is I think it means to the state as the state enlightenment. And that's when the Buddha nature or the self nature, true self manifests, and that's when we'll be able to have the function of the true nature. So now, if anyone who has any questions about the practice, it's time to bring it up. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. We invite Kim In to speak. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Dear all monks or nuns and everyone, I have a question. The question is, how do we practice to really eradicate the self or detach from the self? When we're talking about detach from the self or break away from the self, so the basic of understanding is not to have the mind of seeking, of gaining, and has a mind no fear. So if we realize to any thought, if we think we have the right understanding, that is also considered to be an attachment. So that if there's any a thought of gaining, having a gain of anything, that is an attachment. So in order to break away from the self, it's really the state where we have no gain, no attaining, no seeking. So if we notice that we get to the state of no gain, that is still in the relative, in the duality. So if we can stay in the state of doubt, that is the state where no discrimination thought is in our mind. So sometimes we think that we have the right, right thought, right. So the opposite of that is wrong. So that is still in duality. So in this world, in this hasa world, if we have a thought of that we think is perfect, is absolutely right, that is still an attachment. That is still self-attachment. Like an example, like in an organization, we have a very talented person, and he or she give out his or her own idea, and they never try to live harmonious with everyone. And so that is still attachment. That's what he tried to say. That is still an attachment, a self-attachment. Because this person stick with their own idea, their own way of doing things. They never get try to get like flexibility with everyone. So what he tried to say, we have to be in harmony with everyone. So that's why we need to, in an organization, we need to have the 6 harmonious, the 6 harmonious Dharma. So, for example, like in this society, so if we have a very good skill, very good idea, and sometimes when we try to apply this skill set, but the people they're not to up to that standard, up to that level. They will not be able to to follow. So if we stick with this, then we will not be successful. We will not get what we want. So So nowadays, a lot of people, when they believe in something that they think is right, then they stick with their own thinking, and they never try to be flexible with anybody, and that is attachment. That is so the Buddha gave out or left behind all skillful means for us to practice. But at the end, he just said this is just all the teaching that he left with us. He is all experience, all skillful means. So our practice, we need to remember the principle: no gain, no attaining, no seeking, no fear. So again, the three criteria from the aspect of we have to have the eyes of wisdom, the wisdom eyes, are clear about the theory, the principle, the teaching, and we have to have a mind of determination in the practice. So we have to have all these three criteria, and we need to always rely on the triple gems. So one of the criteria is determination. We have to be diligent. We have to stick with and for a long time. So we if we have these three criteria and we keep practicing, then eventually we will get to the state of enlightenment. But a lot of people, when they get motivated and they keep the practice, continue with the practice, but when they don't have the motivation, they don't practice. So we need to be take this. We have to consider about this. We have to pay attention to this. So the teaching bring forth the body mind is to really let go of the self. Is to detach from the self. But more likely when we go after and sometimes we think about the thing that we think is right, then we attach to this, then that is self-attachment. So when we want to break away from self, then we really need to rely on the Dharma so that we can practice correctly. And so because of the self-attachment, we more like to rely on the instead of the Dharma. But if we practice correctly, rely on the Dharma is also rely on the person. We don't discriminate, between person and Dharma. So a lot of time we think we take the consciousness as wisdom. So the Buddha mentioned about the meaning of the sense in the diamond, or the false state of attachment in the Langavatusha. So the meaning of this is to let go of the self. So when we listen to the Dharma, it's not that when we understand that is already action. So we have to have the practice. So we just give an example, like after they became a doctor, get the degree in a doctor degree, they have to practice in order to become a good doctor. So that's just fully down. So for the transcendental doctor, we have to be more careful. So if we don't have any thought of discrimination or judgment in our mind, then the prajna will be in our mind. So we should not let the discrimination thoughts stay in our mind. If we not careful, then all kind of suffering will be. You understand? Thank you. So I would like to ask another question. Dear Master, example, when we begin to practice, bring forth the mind to practice, we don't know about this method. We just know that this is one of the Buddha's teaching or experience. So sometimes not clear about the teaching, or have a little understanding about the meditation, the chant school. And when they practice, and when they practice, if they're not clear about the teaching, so it seems like they're not sure the importance here. You see, if we recognize, if we have the taste of suffering, that we experience about suffering, so three Dharma still impermanent, emptiness, and no self. So we recognize the suffering, then we will find, we will go seek, go find happiness. So almost everyone recognize this, and when they recognize it, they began to go look for happiness. So every means, everyone has his or her own karma, her own his or her own cause and effects. So everyone knows that we will through birth and death. So if we understand about this, then we begin to look for ways to eradicate this suffering. So a lot of, because most of us, we attach to the self and we don't really know who we are. So the people who will be able to recognize the up and down in the society that they live in, then they will begin to go look for the practice. So even though a person who doesn't understand about the practice, doesn't understand about the teaching or the Buddha Dharma, but they experience the suffering in their life, then they will go look for, they will go find go look for the teaching so that they can to end this. So in Buddhism, there are so many different ways of practice. So this Chan practice is just one of the skillful means from the Buddha. And when we're talking about meditation, there's so many different methods of meditation out there. So a person needs to rely on the good no advisors so that they can slowly understand or be more clear about the practice. So when we're talking about right Dharma or wrong Dharma, right Dharma is to let go of the self. The wrong Dharma is attachment of the self attachment. So right Dharma is let go of the attachment that we think that is real. We accept everything is real. Wrong Dharma, that we know that everything is not real. So the Buddha's teaching, all kind of teaching out there, the teaching has incomplete meaning. The teaching that has a complete meaning. So two types of teaching the Buddha mentioned is complete meaning and incomplete meaning. But in the complete meaning will lead to the complete meaning. So in this practice, the Huato, the chant, this chant of we practice, and when we practice correctly, even we get to the final state we call the a complete the enlightenment state. And they will, when we get to this state, they will be able to see who we are, and we will be able to see all our previous lives. So if we have the basic understanding and we keep the practice going, if we get to the state where we can control our own destiny, be our own master. Thumbs up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha.